Hi everyone! Today we're focusing on the Disney movie Coco, which is based around the Mexican holiday Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead is in November where it's a little bit chilly, so today we're going to be making some warm treats like a churro cupcake and a champurrado, which is a Mexican hot chocolate to keep us warm. Now let's jump in and start with our churro cupcakes. Here's what you'll need.
So today we're going to be making a churro cupcake because churros are a little bit hard to make, but they are one of the treats that are eaten on Day of the Dead. So we're going to make it into a cupcake and we're going to be doing that first. So for this one, I'm going to go ahead and grab my cupcake liners while my oven is preheating. And I'm also going to get the liners. So I have these really cool fun colors, so I'm going to spread them out. So you can see that all my cupcake holes have a liner in them. So now we're gonna put this aside and we're gonna start on our batter. So now we're gonna go ahead and grab a bowl. I'm gonna use a green bowl for my dry ingredients. And then for my wet ingredients, I'm gonna put them in a blue bowl. So anything dries, anything that if you touch, your hands are not gonna get wet. So the eggs are considered wet, milk, vanilla extract, stuff like that is wet, and sugar, salt, flour is dry. So we're gonna get the green one for our dry, and I'm gonna go ahead and grab my flour. So here I have my flour, and I need 2 cups. So this is my 1 cup, and I'm gonna fill it up twice and pour it in the bowl. So I'm gonna go 1, and you see how at the top here it's on top of the rim, so you're gonna take your finger and you're gonna slide it across the top so that it's flat. So if you look now, and then you just dump it in, and then I'm gonna do that again. Now for our sugar, we need 1 cup again. So for this one, I'm going to open the lid and just pour really slowly into my cup until it's full. And now I'm gonna go and pour it into my dry ingredients bowl. Next is baking powder. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my baking powder, and I need 1.5 teaspoons. So first I'm gonna start out with the 1 teaspoon. I'm gonna fill it up, and again with my finger, this is way too much. I'm gonna go right across the top, wipe it off, and pour it in. Now for the half, I'm gonna get my 1/2 teaspoon, fill it up, wipe across, and drop it in the bowl. And we're gonna do the exact same thing with our cinnamon. So I need the same amount, 1.5. I'm gonna take my 1, fill it up. This one's a little harder because my container is smaller. And drop it in. And then for my 1/2, same thing. And drop it in. Next is our salt, and we only need 1 teaspoon. So I'm gonna grab my 1 teaspoon and really slowly, because this one's gonna make a mess, is pour it into my teaspoon until it's full. Oh, I made a little bit of a mess, but that's okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and drop that in. And that's it for our dry ingredients. We're gonna set this aside and start on our wet ingredients. So now we're ready to start with our wet ingredients that are going into the blue bowl. And we're gonna start off with our egg. For your egg, you wanna crack it along the side of the bowl or on the counter. So I'm gonna crack mine on the counter, so you're just gonna give it 1 strong hit, and it's gonna break. And then in the 2 cracks, you're gonna put your thumb, flip it over, and pull the sides apart so that only the stuff in the middle comes out and no shells. Then we're gonna get our milk and our measuring cup, and we need 1 cup, which is the line right over here. So I'm gonna fill up to the line with milk. So pour very slowly until it reaches the line. Check a little bit more. And that should be enough. And then we're going to pour it back into our wet ingredients bowl. Our next wet ingredient is our vanilla extract. So I'm gonna go ahead and open that up, and I'm going to get my 1 teaspoon measuring spoon, and very slowly I'm going to pour the extract into the spoon and dump it into our wet ingredients bowl. So now we're gonna do our butter. I have 1.5 small sticks of butter that are unsalted that I'm going to open and put inside this little glass jar so that we can put it in the microwave and melt it and then let it cool down. Now we're gonna get our melted butter and we're gonna let it cool down a bit. So if yours is still too hot, wait a couple minutes before you pour in your melted butter into your wet mixture. So now I have all my ingredients in my wet ingredients and all of my dry ingredients in my dry ingredients bowl. So I'm gonna mix them both and then I'm gonna mix them together. So now we're gonna go ahead and add our wet ingredients to the mixer. You can use a measuring cup to slowly scoop the dry ingredients into the mixer. Pour about half, and then you're gonna wanna turn your mixer on and let it mix, and then you can put the other half in and let it all mix together. So now our batter is all mixed up and it's ready to go in the oven. First thing we need to do is we need to put the batter into the cupcake liner. So the easiest trick is to use an ice cream scooper, and you're gonna scoop up some batter and then just drop one scoop into every single liner. So now they're all filled and they're ready to go in the oven. So now all of our cupcakes have come out of the oven and they're cooled down, so it's time to decorate them. I'm just going to be using vanilla frosting. I'm gonna put it into this bowl over here so you guys can all see. And in the movie Coco, you can see that the petal that he needs a blessing from his family member is orange, and all the flowers that they put out for that holiday are orange, and it's actually a marigold. So we're gonna be decorating our cupcakes to look like one of those flowers. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my food coloring, and I'm gonna use red and yellow to make orange. So first I'm gonna open up the red one, and be careful because this will color your fingers. And I'm gonna do one little drop of red, and then one little drop of yellow. And then I'm gonna mix that up and see if it makes a nice color orange. So that's about how orange I got mine. It's a little bit reddish pink, but it's close enough. Now I'm going to get my piping bag. If you don't have a piping bag, you can just use a Ziploc bag and pretend this is a Ziploc bag. You're gonna put everything into the corner, and then you're going to cut off the corner as your tip if you don't have an actual piping bag. And then I'm just going to fold the sides over so that I could fill it up with my orange icing. Okay, filled up. So now you can see that when I squish everything through, it's going to come out of the tip. And that's what I'm going to use to decorate my cupcake to make it look like a flower. So I'm going to just start by drawing a circle, and then I'm going to do little petals around. And you can decorate yours however you like. That's what my flower looks like. And then you can even try to do it differently on some of the other cupcakes. Or you don't have to draw a flower at all. You could even try to do a smiley face or a heart, or even the letter of your name. So here you have our churro cupcakes and some of the ways that we decorated it. So we tried some orange flowers, or you could be silly and draw some shapes or some letters.
Now it's time for Champurrado, or Mexican hot chocolate. Here are some of the ingredients you'll need, or some substitutes.
A Okay, so next we're gonna start with our Champurrado recipe, or our Mexican hot chocolate recipe. So it has a lot of flavor and a lot of authentic ingredients in it, and I'll put a link to where I got mine if you're from Toronto below. So I'm gonna start off with my already 6 cups of water into my saucepan, and I'm gonna add the sugar cane, or you could just add you could add brown sugar if you don't have this, into the water. My stove isn't on yet. And you're also gonna add the cinnamon stick. So I'm gonna put that on, and then I'm gonna turn my stove all the way high. So now we're going to allow this to boil until the sugar cane, or your brown sugar, has completely melted. And then we're gonna let it simmer for a few minutes before going on to the next ingredients. So now that my brown sugar has completely melted, it's time to add the chocolate tablets. And you have to be really careful when you're doing anything on the stove. Make sure your hand's staying on the handle and don't touch the actual pan, or you will burn yourself. So be really careful and keep your hands far away. So now we're going to add the chocolate tablets. So there's one. You're gonna very gently add it, and make sure you don't touch the liquid and you don't get too close to the pan. Just drop it, and then you're gonna slowly stir for about 5 minutes until the chocolate completely melts. So we are going to need a bowl, and you're gonna need 2 cups of water that I already have measured, and I'm going to pour that into the bowl. And then with the corn flour, I need 3/4 of a cup. To make 3/4, I'm going to get my 1/4, fill it up, and drop it 3 times. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to stir it together. And then we're gonna mix it up really, really well to get it nice and creamy. So the mixture is very creamy now, and it's time to pour it in because all my chocolate has melted. So for this step, you wanna be really careful and pour very slowly, and then you're going to stir right after. So let's pour. I'm gonna use 2 hands and make sure I'm not touching anything, and I'm not pouring too fast so that nothing splashes and burns me. Okay, and now I'm going to continue stirring. Now our hot chocolate is ready, and I already put it in a cup. So now for fun, we're just gonna take some marshmallows and some edible markers, and we are going to draw some of the sugar skull skeletons from the Coco movie onto the marshmallows so we could put it in our hot chocolate. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my black marker, and I'm gonna start by drawing 2 eyes. So those are my 2 eyes, and then I'm gonna draw a smiley face. Just like that. And then because skeletons don't have teeth, they have little lines instead to show that they're a skeleton. So I'm gonna do the little lines, like the ones that Miguel draws on his face in the movie. Like that. And then you can even go ahead and you can get some other colors, and you can draw some designs around their eyes like there is in the movie. So now that I have a few decorated marshmallows, I can just go ahead and put them into my hot chocolate. Ooh. And that's it, it's ready to drink. And there you have your Mexican hot chocolate with some really fun sugar skull marshmallows on top. Now it's ready to drink.
Thank you everyone for watching. I hope your treats come out delicious and you had lots of fun.